Well, we have definitely found ourselves on the wrong side of town here. And that building, let's face it, you can only imagine criminals operating out of that one, can't you? Well, then you think, what would Mr. Big or Ms. Big drive? Of course it is. It's a big, black, intimidating Mercedes. Welcome back to the channel and this series where I showcase one of the cars from my garages. We're on to episode 15 now, and it's the turn of the Brabus E V12 800. You may well be aware that Brabus tunes Mercedes and the resulting models are actually badged as a Brabus car. Well, this is an E-Class Mercedes from about 2010. They already made an E V12 that was very powerful and fast, but then they really outdid themselves with a few of these, which is the E V12 800 with 800 horsepower. It also gives you an excuse to put a wing on the back of your Mercedes. This is a really great sounding car. I think it might share the engine note with the free car we looked at, which was the Schafter V12, but a really great engine sound, and I wanted you to hear that. I don't think we had Ms. Big driving the car, by the way. That dodgy looking person I think was just the driver, but anyway, she seems to be enjoying the car. Whilst the E V12 is an exceptional car, there's one styling feature I don't like, which is this carbon fibre piece all around the back wheels. I think it's to disguise a wider track, keep it aerodynamic. Mind you, they did one called the Black Baron, and if you look at that, I think again this was for the Autobahn to keep things aerodynamic, but it looks way worse still. So in fact, this is a case where I prefer the in-game car to the real one. I really enjoy driving this car. There's the combination of the noise, the acceleration, and the handling. Now the handling can be a bit tail heavy, and now and again you can end up 90 degrees to the way you wanted to face, and needless to say this can slow you down somewhat. But overall it's great fun. Now the car is obviously a sedan, or a saloon as we call it in the UK, but it has a slight odd feature in the game in that you can race it in both the sedan class and also the sports class. Now in the sports class it's about 5 seconds or so over a 1 minute lap behind the leaders in Brabus testing, so no point in buying this for the sports class. Okay, forget the sports class, what about the sedan class? Well, this car in Brabus hands puts in a really good lap time. In my hands, of course, sometimes that happens, so do be aware of that. You would have to drive it very smoothly to get a good lap. But in Brabus hands, this car, which is only $116,000, puts in a lap time that is less than 1/5 of a second off the pace of the class leader, which is the 5000, which is based on the Maserati Quattroporte, and costs a whopping 1.74 million. I might do a review on it later. So hardly anything in it, but the difference in cost is immense. So if you just race occasionally in the sedan class and you're not bothered about the 5000 as a car, then this has to be the bargain, the racing bargain of the century. As you can see, very enjoyable car to drive around the lap, maybe not quite as planted as some, but up there with the speed, and if you compare that with some previous cars that I've taken around this track, you'll see it's done very creditably. There's also an armoured version of this car available. The difference in performance is negligible. It's $325,000, so double the price. See mine here in my armoured car garage parked next to the Land Rover Sentinel. In real life it's the Mercedes E-Class E-Guard, and I can tell you right away the E-Guard does not have bumps all over the door for armour. I don't think any cars do, that is just a GTA thing. So really the same car, little bit of armour, but you're not going to use that for free roam because you're going to use a Night Shark. This is the normal Schafter, which you can buy for less money or steal from the street, but listen to it. Yeah, that's right, you really just don't want to bother with one of these at all. Quick run through the customisation. I used here the race exhaust and of course the xenon headlights. It's a metallic black with a cast iron silver pearl, and the secondary also metallic black. Sticking with the theme, go for a black or a graphite interior. carbon wing is actually not far off the one on the 800. Stock suspension is a little bit too high on the front wheel, lowered is a bit too low on the back wheel, so really you need to choose. The wheels are track wheels, and the high 5, they're actually an excellent match for the Brabus. Because the wheels aren't quite black, I used a very dark silver, but I don't think it's right, so I would try this anthracite black if I were you on the wheels. Of course you'll fully black out the windows. And here's a photograph of the car on the standard suspension and with those anthracite black wheels, which I do think is the best. Now, Ms. Big has been in the gun trader. I'm not too sure quite what deal has been struck, but she's finished and she's going to head up the coast to a bar while we come up with a rating for this car. Well, and I'm really sorry if you saw this coming, but looks for me is a 5-star. It's instantly recognisable as a Mercedes, and an E-Class at that. I think it looks wonderful, and as I've said, I'm not keen on the looks of the Brabus in real life, and I actually prefer the in-game car, a little bit like with the Chiron. When it comes to driving, I'm going to give it 4 stars. Now I have to say I love the way it drives, and personally for me it is 5 stars, but I do have to acknowledge that the car is quite an oversteery car, and that won't be for everybody. Same story really for the Armoured version, it's 4 stars for driving that car. And the value for money is $116,000 for all this. It's just ridiculous value for money. It's sort of 6 stars out of 5, isn't it? So yeah, the ratings for this car, 5 stars, 4 stars and 5 stars. Absolutely excellent. And if you haven't got one of these, I mean, why haven't you got it? I just don't understand. It's so cheap. Please just go out and buy one right now. Well, as she heads in to take a drink, or maybe it's just to conduct a deal behind closed doors, it's time to end the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any car that you'd like me to cover in this series, let me know down below and I'd be only too pleased to help. Otherwise, take care on the streets of Los Santos, and thank you so much for watching.